Hey, you said you were going to buy. Hello. That is not sales for nice people. How do you handle it when a buyer says, it sounds great, we love the proposal, send us the contract, we're going to get started as soon as possible. And then they don't. What do you do when a buyer turns into a ghost when they have said that it's going to work and we're going to do this? A lot of people will then revert to chasing, to following up, just checking in, just circling back. That doesn't work because then you look like a salesperson, and the default reaction to somebody who behaves like a salesperson is to ignore them. You don't want to get ignored. But you do need to make sure that you restart the conversation, that you figure out whether or not there is actually a deal here, because otherwise you have yet another stuck deal in your pipeline with a buyer who doesn't reply to you. Now, standard follow-up and chasing doesn't work. But there are two questions that you can ask that might actually restart the conversation, get you a reply, so that you then know whether or not the deal is off the table for the time being, or whether there is an objection, an obstacle in the way that you might be able to help them resolve, so that you actually get to help them get closer to the sale and make it possible for them. There's always reasons why something might not be possible for them now, and if you can work with them, perhaps on payment terms, well, then suddenly the budget objection that they might have might not be such a big problem. But you can't get there if you can't restart the conversation if you don't get a reply. So there's two types of questions that you can ask in order to get a buyer who has turned into a ghost to reply to you again and restart the conversation. The first one I got from Dean Jackson. It's called the 9-word email. It's very simple, very short. You put the person's first name in the subject header and you send an email saying, "Hi, are you still looking for outcome XYZ?" So in my case, that might be, "Hi, John, are you still looking to convert more buyers into clients?" Very simple. Sign your name, hit send. Keep it short, keep it very simple, one question, just in order to get them to say yes or no. The second option, the second question that you can ask when somebody turns into a ghost is the opposite. It's what Chris Voss teaches, where you ask your buyer to say no. So this could be, "Hey, have you given up on the idea of turning more clients into buyers?" Now, obviously, they've not given up. So it's very likely that they're going to reply and simply say, "No, we haven't given up, but something has gotten in the way." Now, that thing that has gotten in the way is now something that I can have a conversation with them about. I can say, "Well, given that that is the situation you're in, would you like to continue speaking later in the year?" And they might say yes. Or I might say, "Well, if the budget is a problem, would you like to discuss some different payment terms to make this possible?" And they might say, "Sure, let's have a conversation." In both cases, whether you ask them if they are still looking for an outcome or whether or not they've given up on something, the goal is not to advance the deal. That is where most people go wrong. That's the big mistake people make, to nag about the deal, about the contract, about the signature. Are we going to do this? Where's the payment? Can we get started? Don't do that. When your buyer has turned into a ghost, you're not going to make that deal move forward. But you might be able to restart the conversation. And when that happens, you might be able to work on the deal and help them solve whatever objection is in the way. Either way, don't do default perfunctory follow-up. Ask them, when your buyer has turned into a ghost, ask them, "Are you still looking for outcome XYZ, or have you given up on getting outcome XYZ?" Hope that helps. This is Sales for Nice People. Go to salesfornicepeople.com/sign up, where you can get a short daily email, and I will see you again tomorrow.